Hi, everybody. Welcome back at M2 Meets, the long version of my interview with Dr. Gábor Forrai, leading breast imager from Budapest, co-founder of EUSOBI in the 90s. And now it's my great pleasure and honor to have a little longer chat with Dr. Gábor Forrai about how the EUSOBI evolved, the story about EUSOBI, the different chapters. And I'm very excited because I'm sure I want to learn a lot in the next 20 minutes. I'm sure all of you are excited as well. So thanks again, Gábor, for taking your time to share your personal insights, your personal history with EUSOBI from the very birth in the late 90s until now, the year 2023. Welcome back again, Gábor. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Matthias. Thanks for inviting me. In fact, we could speak a little bit about the history of EUSOBI. It's not important to deal too much with the past. It's rather to focus on the future, always. But to understand where EUSOBI is standing now, it would and the direction where EUSOBI is going to. It's important to understand how all this was founded and how all this was started, with which goals and why. In fact, why did we found a breast imaging society in Europe? In fact, the story began at the mid-90s, where we all used analog films in mammography. It was the time when breast ultrasound was quite at the beginning, so people were already using breast ultrasound, but it was not such a basic routine. So there were breast radiology units without ultrasound, which sounds crazy nowadays. So at the beginning of the 90s, that was the situation. It's really crazy because it's not such a long time which have been passed. MRI was just at the very beginning, so there were already some publications and some trials with MRI, but it was far from being used widespread. So it was a very interesting time. It was just 2 or 3 years after Parker invented core biopsy. So we all did cytology that time, FNA. So the whole diagnostics was based on mammography, on physical imaging, palpation, and cytology. So it's quite special, and I'm pretty sure that there is no other medical or radiological method which has undergone with such a huge change during a little bit more than 20 years. So when we started the society, it was in 1996 or 7. I don't remember exactly because it was a continuous process. So there was a meeting, and the founders of the society tried to invite people from European countries who were somehow attached or could be attached to breast radiology. So that's how I came to this meeting, to the founding meeting of EUSOBI, because they have found me somehow. I was a young breast radiologist, but or so far not too much specialized on breast still at that time. But there was somebody, an old guy from radiotherapy, and somehow he was found. And he told me that it's rather me who should go there because I speak English. That was quite easy to get there and to attend a fantastic meeting with fantastic people and to learn a lot at the beginning of my career. And as EUSOBI was founded, I remained among the founding members as a board member for a long time, a lot of functions, and then at the end I became the president of EUSOBI in 2015. So So it was very interesting how we started, and it was important because breast imaging was emerging, and we all felt that it is a subject which attracts a lot of people, patients, and doctors, and nurses, and other disciplines as well. So it's an interdisciplinary subject with interventions, what I personally liked a lot. So it seemed to be a good start of my career as well, and also the breast imaging in Europe and also in the world. So that was the beginning, and then we had the congresses till between this till 2011, attached to the one day before the ECR, the Vienna European Congress of Radiology. And all the EUSOBI people and Congress was in a room of 150 seats, because all our society had no more members than this. And the participants at our society's annual meeting, which was the EUSOBI meeting of 100 and some people in Vienna, was only this one section. Presentations and discussions, and that's it. And as ECR was already long enough, people didn't like to displace themselves and to be absent from work for a long time, for 2 more days or 1 more day. So that's why some of the people of the board thought that it should be detached from ECR. It was raising a lot of issues like financial, and so how could we organize a Congress alone, as we haven't seen more than 150 people from all Europe interested. So after some years of discussions in the board, we saw that the numbers are not growing, and what I learned from my business people friends, they told that if a business is stable, it will die. So if it is not growing, it will die. So I was also very much in favor of detaching it from ECR, and then we took the risk and organized a separate EUSOBI Congress in Barcelona, with a lot of fear, financial and other fears, whether people would be interested in another Congress, a new Congress. It's very difficult always to introduce new meetings in the world, because it is already packed with meetings. And then we organized in 2012 the first standalone EUSOBI annual Congress in Barcelona, and it became a huge success. 400 people in the room, a lot of discussions, and a lot of friendly meetings. So we were extremely happy, and then we continued that way. Also financially, we could manage it. That time it was easier than today, and then the story began. So it was like we can call the divorce from the ECR, but in fact it's not a divorce, because we are in close collaboration with ECR, ESR. We are always part of the program planning committee. We are leading. I was also leading 1 year the program planning committee of the breast programs. So we are together with them. But as you see, and as everyone can observe, EUSOBI became the main breast imaging society. From 150 participants in 2011, 10 years later, in 2022, we had already 1,100, more than 1,100 participants at our Congress in Malmö last year, with 68 countries, and among them 6 persons from India, 6 persons from New Zealand, 24 from the United States, 9 from Australia, 15 from Korea and Israel. So it really became a huge worldwide renowned meeting, and I'm absolutely happy and absolutely proud of it, and I'm happy that I could at least put from my energy and from myself at least a little bit in the forming of this society, and also the forming of this great progress. So that's in short how EUSOBI became this big.
Thank you, Gábor, for this lovely personal but also very insightful story about how EUSOBI came to birth. You started before the birth, actually, the weeks, the years before, and how it developed during the last years. And I couldn't agree more with you. I also have a big business background. If a business doesn't develop, like if it's at a plateau, it's a bad sign. It kind of sounds like too much, business driven, but this is really correct. If you don't develop, if you don't have new ideas, if you cannot attract more people, you have a problem. And I think EUSOBI has been managing that so well. I mean, looking at the numbers you presented, about 150, and now I think we are reaching 1.5K, so factor 10 members already. I mean, this is really amazing. In a time where some societies have struggled to expand or to have a plateau, we are having, you may call it exponential growth, and this is wonderful. And this is only possible to the groundwork which has been laid by you and your fellow friends and fellow EUSOBI breast imagers in the late 90s. What you missed, and you're not to blame for that because you didn't want to put it too much into this history. There was a lovely highlight conference just before COVID, and this was in your city, Budapest. And this was one of the highlights. I really loved this. Maybe you want to share your personal impressions, memories about this conference, because it was, I should be blaming, it was the last face-to-face before COVID, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Some words, Gábor, maybe about this. And this was really superb. I remember Danube, the boat trip, but also the content was really superb.
Yeah, it was really a great joy for me to host the EUSOBI annual meeting in 2019 in Budapest. In fact, we are going always around from the Barcelona Congress. We are going around major European cities and beautiful sites. Not because of the business, but because I think it cannot be separated from a little bit of business thinking. If you organize a congress at an attractive venue, then it would attract more people than if you organize it somewhere at a boring small place. It's quite human, and I think and I hope we can remain human. And human nature is to going towards good places. That's not congress tourism. That's normal human behavior. And also going back to your previous mentioning of business, I have observed that there are a lot of people who are clever and good professionals who cannot organize a congress, a meeting, whatever. So congress organization or meeting organization, it's another profession. So it has to be taken into consideration. And we have a great office, EUSOBI office, who is helping us enormously in these organizations. So even if the actual president is not an organizer type of guy, the office helps, and that's why all the congresses are great. What we organize. In fact, the congress I was organizing in Budapest, it was a great success, and we didn't know that it would be the last personal meeting before COVID. So even that we didn't know that, we put a lot of effort in the organization. Budapest, as you know, it's a beautiful place, a beautiful city, and we got a great venue with huge spaces. So the 1,000 people who came to visit our Congress could easily fit in. It was around the time when the Congress was reaching 1,000 members. So I was really happy to see this, and scientifically it was great as usual, with a lot of personal discussions, interdisciplinary on-stage discussions of very special issues like is there an extensive ADH? Does it exist, or it's already a DCIS? So pathologists were disputing with radiologists and among them. So that was really a great, scientifically also, it was a great meeting. And after we had some social programs. For example, we had a trip on the Danube in the evening. So when the sun was already going down, and the city is exceptionally beautiful at that time of the day. So we could go along the Danube with a boat and looking to the city. And also we have invited a band who played good music, and a lot of people danced and had a really great time there. I don't remember whether during EUSOBI congresses there was such a dancing party. I think it was the first, and I hope it will continue because people seemingly loved it. So that's also speaking a lot about our society's members, because these are scientifically absolutely great people, clever, serious scientists with the opinion leaders of the world. And in the meantime, they are good friends, very friendly people. You can go to them to discuss anything at the congresses. No one would tell you that take an appointment at my secretary. And also these are the same people who are dancing in the evening and having great time together. So we have been traveling so much together with the board and all the people from the committees. We have been spending so much time that we are almost a family. And now we have a young club for years. What we have formed in order to succeed us, and in order to teach new young breast radiologists who will follow our path. And also I was in the process of forming the young club, and I'm extremely happy because they are clever, they are talented, and they are more and more good for becoming board members or and speakers and so on. So that's the normal evolution of EUSOBI, that we attract more and more people, and also that we would like to set some standards of the breast imaging. We have a lot of publications, recommendations, guidelines, what everyone can find on our website about MRI, ultrasound, screening, dense breast, whatever. And our aim is that to standardize breast imaging, breast radiology in the world, at least in Europe. But Europe is already a wider explanation for our society, because we have a lot of friends and members from other countries, from overseas, from the Arabic countries. We have also a lot of people who are coming to our diploma from these regions, so they find the EUSOBI breast diploma such a value that they come here to do it. We have a great relation with Israel, with the researchers in Israel, and we have had already MRI course in Tel Aviv, and they are also coming to our meetings. So Europe is not strictly taken as it is the same for the European Society of Radiology. EUSOBI also opens towards the world. We have a National Societies Network from 2013, which has actually 32 countries who have signed the Memorandum of Understanding. And we are meeting during every Congress, every annual meeting, and we discuss the trends in the countries and also the needs of these countries, because the level of breast imaging is not equal. So we discuss there what they would need, what kind of course, what kind of education, and so on. So we also try to equalize somehow the breast diagnostic knowledge, because we observe that it's far not the same in Europe, and it's not only a money problem, so not only equipment and financing problem, it's also educational problem. So we are doing the EUSOBI grant for a long time, at least for 10 years. And this grant, anyone can apply to this grant and come to European main institutes for 3 months to learn breast imaging. I was initiating last year, we have started CEE, Central Eastern European grant, which is only for the countries which are mentioned on the website, which are from this region, because we have seen that especially in this region of Europe, breast imaging, the level of breast imaging is not as high as in the developed Western countries. So there is a grant for 1, 2, or 3 months length in the same leading institutions, and this grant, the CEE grant, could be also won by these countries' breast imagers. So there are a lot of activities. I don't want to list all because we don't have so much time, but we have opened to courses, to publications, to young club, to journal club, to grants, to whatever. We have also good connection with the United States, the Society of Breast Imaging, our counterpart in the US. Also a very good relation. So that's in short what we have in international relations, and I'm very happy to continue organizing these meetings and also these collaborations. You have seen, and probably everybody has observed, that our statements, publications are partly translated to many languages in order to be used in different countries where English is not the official language.
Thanks, Gábor, for pointing this out in a nutshell, what is in fact a huge workload, which you and your fellow colleagues at the committees are doing all on a volunteer basis. Also on behalf of that, thank you very much for this tremendous work, which is so important. And I think we should have a separate interview session about highlighting these projects, because there are so many, and not everyone, including myself, will know all details about them. But at that time, I would kind of close and do a quick wrap up of our longer version about the interview with you. Gábor Forrai, leading breast imager and one of the founders and definitely leading figures of the European Society of Breast Imaging, EUSOBI. We started with a review about history, the first moments in the 90s, the evolution as a add-on congress with 150 attendees in the until I think the year 2012, when the next step was driven by you and your fellow friends to set up a separate independent conference detached from the ECR, however, still under the umbrella of the whole family, being the European Society of Radiology, which is, I think, a wonderful partnership. And I think looking at the numbers, but also on the project who involved in the decade after, just this is an amazing job which you have done, and the idea was so right. So many different projects involving, never stop going, scientific publication, connecting radiologists worldwide, I think teaming up is so important, and you have done this wonderful in Budapest. Just a blueprint of how to do it. Very successful. We survived the COVID years. We even grew during these years, which is, I think, a benchmark, which you have to mention as a great success of this history. And there are so many projects going on. Would be a pleasure, Gábor, to talk about your task in the other international committees, which may not be well known to all our listeners, including myself. But at that time, I have to privilege to close this interview with you, and usually the last word belong not to me but to you. So any final remarks you would give to our fellow friends and listeners, just as a personal take home of our session we just had, and we're about to finalize.
The last word, the message to all of our people, it's mainly for the youngs who should choose breast imaging, breast radiology for their profession, because that's one of the greatest thing in medicine. Probably the only very evidence-based act, the mammography screening, the MRI screening, which has already a history and a follow-up of more than 30 years, 40 years, and we have tons of data, and everything what we are doing is evidence-based, but the whole process of imaging and screening is under heavy evolution, and it will not stop. So if you want to work in a continuously changing environment, which means you have to learn, you have to work a lot. I'm sorry, but that's the way how you can progress. Then you should choose breast imaging. You can also do interventions, and last but not least, you will be much closer to the people, to the humans, as a clinicist, because you are speaking a lot to the patient. You are giving the good and the bad news to the patients personally. You have to speak with them. You have to be a little bit of psychologist to tell them what to do, to manage a little bit their way till the healing, and then they come back to you after 20 years with their child or already an adult child, that you should continue their screening because you have saved their life 20 years before, when you found the cancer of 7 millimeters. And that's such a great feeling that it's very difficult to speak about, because it's a really a moving event when your old cancer patients come back to you after 20 years and they are still healthy, still having a good life, and you know that it is partly your result, your success, that you have found and managed well this tiny cancer. So I think breast imaging gives such a huge joy to the life that I cannot agree more than to attract more and more young people to breast imaging, to choose this as a profession.
Thank you, Gábor. Very moving and very well said. Couldn't agree more with you. One reason for you guys at home to stay tuned at our channel to get more messages from Gábor Forrai and all the other fellow EUSOBI leaders about breast imaging, state of the art. That's for now. My name is Matthias. Have a good one and see you soon at our channels. Goodbye.